Hey, what's up? This is Seth Green, and you are listening to Somewhere in Vegas with Mark, and I am so hot, I would desperately like a glass of water. Please, please, give me some water.
This is Cindy Preston, and I'm with Mark on Somewhere in Vegas.
Hi, this is Melissa Peterman from CMT's The Singing Bee and the television show Reba. And I have to tell you, I just have to get it off my chest, I love Somewhere in Vegas with Mark.
Hi there. This is Faith Roscoe from General Hospital. You're listening to Mark on Somewhere in Vegas. And you better watch out. We know how to find you if you're not listening.
Hi, this is Shannon Egan from Whippet, and I love Somewhere in Vegas with Mark.
Hey, this is Lee Allen Baker with Somewhere in Vegas, talking with Mark with a Q.
This is Courtney Cronin. You're listening to Somewhere in Vegas with your host, Mark, and I would make sure to listen every week because he's a sure bet.
Hey, this is the Money Man, Eddie Money. I got 2 tickets to Paradise, and it's, you know what? It's Somewhere in Vegas. And what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Hi, this is Crystal Gale, and I love Somewhere in Vegas with Mark.
Hi, this is Terry Nunn from Berlin, and you're listening to Mark Somewhere in Vegas.
Hi, this is Miracle Laurie from Joss Whedon's Dollhouse. There are 3 flowers in a vase, and I'm listening to Somewhere in Vegas with Mark.
Hi, this is Erin Hill, and you are listening to Mark on Blog Talk Radio and Somewhere in Vegas. Mark is a great guy.
Hi, this is Sean Pulaski. I'm still trying to figure out Mark Pico's sexuality, but I know you're listening to Somewhere Live in Vegas.
Here you go, Mark. I'm sorry. I thought you were she. I'm sorry. Get out of the tent. Let's get out of here.
Hey, this is Lance and Anna from Free Radio. And Anna?
And you're listening to Somewhere in Vegas.
Yes.
My favorite.
You know, that's usually what happens with me. I go to Vegas and I get lost, and so I end up somewhere in Vegas.
Somewhere in Vegas.
But I just don't know where it is.
Not quite sure.
Yeah, word.
Get ready. It's going to be hot. It's in Vegas. Check out Mark. Be there or be square.
My guest at this time really has kind of put his foot in the, he pretty much broke down the door, actually, in terms of filmmaking. He has his first film out. It's called Taking the Fall. And, it's very interesting to kind of go in the direction of self-financing and really trying to get your name out there as well. And he's done a really great job, especially with the cast he's gotten and all the awards he's been getting, especially the Charlotte Film Festival, where he's gotten some of the top awards as well. We've got Steven Hellmann on with us right now. How you doing, Steven?
I'm doing great, Mark. Thank you for having me, and thank you for the warm introduction.
No problem at all. And I haven't had a chance to watch the movie yet, but obviously a lot of critical success in terms of that as well. How was it for you, especially that first festival audience, to be able to watch it and kind of get their kind of gauge their reaction to the movie?
Yeah, it was an interesting sort of landscape with the festivals, because our first one was in February 2020 at the Chinese Theater in Hollywood. And there was people there, and then everything sort of went, and it was great. It was awesome, obviously, seeing my first film on a huge screen, and then it went all to digital with COVID, and so to especially the Charlotte Film Festival, to win awards and just sort of see reaching probably a broader audience than we would have because of being on digital, to see that sort of success and people really starting to kind of understand the sort of message I was trying to send, but allowing, interpreting it their own way, and just seeing how it was resonating with people was really cool. It was really cool to see. And it's been such a, fun experience for me, especially now that it's out, that seeing how people react to it in different ways and making it, is it a film about just going for your dreams? Is it about a guy reacclimating to society? I think it's a lot of things. So it's fun to let people kind of take what they want from it, as opposed to us sort of, this is what it's about, so that's pretty cool.
Why the decision for this particular script to be able to do for your first film? I mean, was there obviously, I'm a writer. I have quite a few scripts up, in my back pocket, but trying to decide what the first film is, that you're really trying to finance. What was kind of your thought process in that?
I wanted to really do something that I felt represented my as a working, millennial, I think anyone going through their 20s and, into late 20s and the early 30s has seen how much changed. And so this story to me was just really about, how a lot of people that I've grown up with, and just in general, how I've always felt like, people, we kind of take things for granted. I think a lot of us are realizing that now, just everyday life, as COVID has kind of stripped away a lot of our normal everyday freedoms. So I just felt like this story was to tell people like, hey, we have it so much better than we probably think we have. Now, not everyone, but it just was a really important message for me. That's something that I've always felt like, why are we spending all this time and energy complaining on things when, if you have a job you don't really like, most of us have sort of the power to quit it. If you're in a bad relationship with someone, we have the ability to do that. And it just felt like a really important thing to me that I just really needed it to be said. So hopefully, obviously I want to continue making films, but this just felt like this is the story that, hey, if I ever get one crack at this is the story that I really needed to tell for myself. And I think people needed to hear.
Yeah, it's a character study basically, and how people perceive it. I mean, we have the main character who's just, was basically out of society for 6 years. Mm-hmm. And you just think about how much has changed in those 6 years coming out. And it's also looking a little bit about, when you get out of college, things change, things direction change, you're so ambitious going into college and wanting to take over the world. And this movie is a situation where he comes out of prison and sees that, it's not, I guess there's no, that I don't know how to explain it. The idea of wanting to conquer that mountain has kind of fell to the wayside because there's other things to do. Mm-hmm. I mean, how's it with the relationship between the characters, and especially the main character?
Yeah, to me, it's with that main character. It's like he missed that whole 6 years of after college, because you go into college, you're expecting, this is a line of the movie, you go to college with a major expecting you're going to get a job in that major. So to miss those 6 years where you're going through growing pains and maybe doing internships or things that you want to do, a lot of things in life just sort of happen. And I think a lot of people get side course for various different reasons, but it's definitely that almost sort of that illusions of grandeur that I think college sort of sells you, where it's like you can be anything you want to be. And it's great to get an education, and anyone that should, obviously, like that's awesome. I know some people don't have those opportunities, but it can be really frustrating where you come into college with such a like, oh, I'm going to do all this, and then this guy comes out of jail and he sees all his friends are, where most people are sort of in that kind of rut of like, I don't like my job, I don't like that. But if you're just being reacclimated into this, you're going to be like, what's going on, guys? Like, why are you complaining when I was just in prison this entire time? So to me, it was about those growing pains after college, but it's really like, to me, it always feels like a film about perspective and like an appreciation for what we have and what we can control. Because there's a lot of things we can't, but there are things we can.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, talk a little bit about the cast. Obviously, you got some really solid actors to be a part of this cast. Kind of tell me a little bit about that process of getting these actors involved.
Yeah, so that working with the director and the other producer on the film, we did a bunch of casting calls, and we were able to kind of go through, like, we had so many submissions for all the characters minus the lead, Monroe Chambers, who I'll get back to that. But we had all these auditions, so we kind of looked through and we invited people to do casting. But to get the actors that we did, to get Roland Both, Katie Gill, and the rest of the supporting cast, they all did their read-throughs. They read their lines, and they just nailed it. And I had these characters sort of in my head, and I can't imagine, for my first film, to get such a talented, group of actors that were really going to carry this, sort of entire film, was the dialogue and the story and the acting. So to have someone like Monroe Chambers, who's just been in a bunch of things, is just a pro, and he gets it, was so cool. Because I just envisioned the character as sort of being this kind of gritty kind of small guy, the lead, Tyler. So to get him, where the director, he once we fill out the rest of the cast, he said, oh, like, these are the guys we can get for the role. And the first name he said was Monroe Chambers. And I just like stopped listening to him. I was like, that's the guy who I totally want for the film. So it was really cool, to work with such talented actors. And, Roland Buck he's currently filming the next like Paranormal Activity. So he's sort of going kind of, he's been going up. He was a regular in Chicago Med. So it's just really cool to get such a talented cast, and they all really stepped up and just did a great job.
Talk about, working with the director. I mean, was that, how was it for you to work with the director?
It was great. I mean, Josh, and then our DP and also other producer, Chris, like they were, this was such a collaborative process. I wasn't going to be super tight about my script and just, the lines need to be read this way. And it was a very good, just team effort to make the script the best that we could, make the story, make it come out the best. So working with Josh and alongside the actors, where I was kind of, I would call myself assistant directing, where we would say to him, like, hey, these are the lines, these are the points you need to get across. And you want to say some different way, do it. And I think having that sort of flexibility and camaraderie where there wasn't, because this was all sort of a newer experience for us, it was so collaborative. There weren't those big egos where people are I want to get my idea across because I need my stamp on it. And as a writer, maybe I could have done that, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted it just to make the best movie that we could. And I think that everyone was really on page for that, because I think we did a great job, especially given that, I financed it myself and that we were all just, coming together and kind of, this was the first time we kind of all did this.
Yeah, so many people have big egos in terms of, what they want to convey and all that as well. And really, to tell you the truth, just going into a movie should be a team setting where, you want to bring the best product in. So it's great to be able to see all the actors and all the crew get along very, 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 very well. Yeah. Where was the shot, by the way?
It was shot in Los Angeles. So we rented, it's mostly a single location drama. So it's all pretty much shot in this house. So we rented an Airbnb that basically fit the script that we wanted, had the settings that we sort of wanted. And, we filmed it in Los Angeles, which is a little difficult. I'm not going to lie, just as the film permits and all the restrictions, we were just at a house and we had to do so much paperwork. So they really do not make filming in Los Angeles an easy thing. And we were just at a house that we rented, like, so it was tough.
Yeah. I hear so many filmmakers wanting to get out of California in terms of filmmaking. I mean, well, Atlanta was a hotbed. Now it looks like that's going to be changing for quite a bit. Mm-hmm. I've talked to Toronto's been doing a very good job, and as well as Vancouver in terms of it as well. So I'm really looking forward to maybe seeing other things. I think Austin may be starting to be the next hub. I think, but even out here in Vegas, I think it's, with the film office out here has been it's usually very, very, very gracious to be able to work with. So. Yeah, it'll be interesting, kind of interesting to see where everything kind of goes from here. I think things in California might be changing a little bit. I think they're kind of fed up with Newsom right now, so they're getting rid of him. So hopefully it'll bring some work back in there, and maybe it'll be less of a hassle to be able to work in LA and anytime soon. But
I think it's great that films can be shot sort of anywhere, because I moved out to LA in 2016 and I just kind of thought, this is where I have to be to do this. And you really don't. I mean, I met a lot of great people, which has helped me with this path. But I think it's awesome that I know people that are filming all over the place. And, you go to places all over America. Oh, you need a bar to shoot in? Here you go. No problem. So I think that it's going to continue to, sort of branch out everywhere, and there will be these hotbeds, but it's really cool to see that narrative is changing, where it's like, you have to be in one place to film and you don't anymore. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. I've shot both my films actually up in Montana, my home state. And People are always so gracious to be able to set up locations for that as well. I mean, I like it a lot as well. Now,